Welcome to West Virginia and Commonplace. At certain times, there comes a time that we get into a stance of that we want to be able to have a great experience at the movie theater. We want to have a great experience at home with a movie. We want to have a great experience with a projector out in the middle of the woods and watch a movie. Today, I have with me Raymond Biddle, and he is a true cinematic experience. And he will correct his name because I did say his last name incorrect. I apologize. Raymond, could you please tell us who you are and tell me the proper way to say your last name?
I'm Raymond Biddle, and
Biddle.
most people call me Ray in the informal settings.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm Raymond Biddle. I run Biddle Productions. I also run Biddle Drive-In. You met my daughter, Amber, and she said we should talk, and that's how I got here today. And now we're on your podcast.
Okay. So you run a production company that handles all facets of the film industry, correct?
Correct.
All right. So here's my question to you, because everybody has a cinematic experience when it first started for you. I'll tell you mine real fast. I was born in 1985, so I have no recollection of anything up until about like 88 or 89. The first cinematic experience I had was with a movie that a lot of people were like, that's kind of weird. Oliver and Company. It wasn't one of Disney's best movies, but I do remember going to the theater, seeing that. And then my biggest experience though was with Dick Tracy. When I seen Dick Tracy was the first movie that got me involved with merchandise, with having a little wristwatch, going back and reading the comics from when they came out in the 50s and yeah, it was the 50s. So what was your first cinematic experience, and after that, what brought you into wanting to keep that cinematic experience going?
Well, for me, my first cinematic experience was when I was 4. I saw the film True Grit, and it was just to spend time with my dad because I didn't get a lot of that the way he worked. And 4, you're like, dad wants to go to a movie. This will be great. So he took me to drive-ins, and he would like I saw Dirty Harry when that came out. I'm guessing I was like 7. So he also liked some weird things. So I saw like Tora, and that started
Whoa.
Gary Berghoff, and he liked horror movies. I was just the kid who went wrong. So, but that really didn't influence me in terms of what I became as a filmmaker and a writer. That came much later. I lived with a traumatic brain injury, and back in the 90s, I thought I was going insane, but it just turned out I was creating stories and I didn't know what to do with them. So, you wander around talking to yourself and you're like, well, this ain't right. People are starting to look at you funny. And you're like, maybe I need an outlet. So what got me into this was watching a show called The Man Show on Comedy Central.
Ooh.
Yeah, they brought me in. I have a varied work history is the best way to word it. I used to do a lot with collectibles, toys, comics, antiques, and I had an opportunity to do a lot with pro wrestling. So I had a shop that was next to, at the time, it was done by he was a wrestler, but he was kind of retired. His name's Larry Sharp, Pretty Boy Larry Sharp.
Okay.
And he owned the Monster Factory. So to hustle, I got wrestling stuff because my store was right next to his wrestling school. They would have monthly shows. I would have stuff to sell people and then make some money. So that's what got me into like the entertainment business, because I was like, wait a minute. The Man Show called me. They asked me for some information on Andre the Giant. I put it together. Took about 15 minutes and I made $350.
Oh, whoa.
I was convinced I was a star. So, brain injury, get a little weird. And I decided I'm going to do this. So I tortured my wife for 2 years and just started writing in notebooks. And she was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, but I feel good. And she's like, go for it. So yeah, I started writing, didn't know what I was doing. The internet was new. I didn't know where to look up stuff. My first script was 240 something pages. It's a little long. I would write thoughts. I would write smells, but I learned and I evolved. And by 2002 or so, I could write a decent script. So that's what that, I hope that answers that question.
Oh, yes, it does. Now, entering film school, you went to the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. What drew you to attend this university, and what are some favorable memories that you have from being in school?
Um, let's see. Online college was starting.
Okay.
So I picked them because they had an online film program. I was in my 40s at that point, and to go back to school, I wanted to do something I was passionate about. Because if I was an accountant. I'm not made out to be an accountant. I like numbers, but that wasn't my thing. So I'm like, I can tell stories. I know how to structure things. I know how to create characters. I can create all sorts of people. I have to explore this. So I sent them a sample of one of my scripts. They were like, it's rough in certain areas, but the storytelling is great. Welcome aboard. So that got me into their program. And then I went there every month. Like we had like maybe 2 weeks off. I did that in like 4 years.
Oh,
So,
whoa.
yeah, it was great. And as for a memorable experience from there, okay, I hate name dropping because that sounds weird. You remember the Andy Griffin Show?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, remember the name at the beginning? The creator's name was Aaron. Brain cramping. Anyway,
Oh,
his son, Andy or Andrew. Hon, can you do me a favor? Look up the creator of the Andy Griffin Show so I say the name correctly. But anyway, his son was my screenwriting teacher, and he has since passed away. But anyway, he was like, you need to talk to this person, this person, and this person, and this person. Just keep hounding them until you get an opportunity. It's like, yes, sir. And he goes, you can write. You're really good at this. And that was the first time someone other than friends and family said I was a strong writer.
okay. So that encouragement there from the son of the creator of Andy Griffith kind of molded you a little bit. It kind of made you feel better in your skin, right?
Oh yeah, it was like I grew up playing sports and I was good at a lot of sports. And I had some opportunities later, but life got in the way, we'll say. It was like that. It was that type of environment where everything you did was for the team.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm giving the words to these actors and the actors are digging what they're saying and they're like, you're really good. It's like, oh, yeah.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Now, on your IMDb, you have numerous accolades to your name. And I'll give you a moment. I'll definitely need you to go through everyone that you have an accolade for. What has been the most rewarding position you have had thus far in filmmaking?
Let me bring this one up. Okay. It's how I work and how I do things. I get the most joy out of helping people that have a story. They have that, it's called a log line, that one sentence that tells the story. And if I can see something in that and they're like, I need this written, and I teach them how to develop their characters so they can give me the right characters, then I teach them how to give me 3 paragraphs and turn it into 90 pages of script. And when they get that and we click, that's that, yes. However, then they get into production. And when they make something, it's the next yeah type of feeling. Then when it gets screened and where you can find it on Amazon Prime, Netflix, a theatrical run, and they're like, thank you so much for making my dreams come true. Nothing's better than that for that part. The next part is my own writing, my own stuff. When I get to make my own stuff, and to the point, like if it's in a if I do something, we get into like you take over a theater and it's called forewarning. You do a little publicity. You hope people show up, and then you're doing a comedy, let's say, and the joke hits with the actors. The timing's perfect, and then the crowd erupts, or Are we allowed to curse or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Where if you're doing something horror and your character bites the head off a squirrel that you built, and it has that perfect crunch sound and the blood splatters, and the audience is like, what the, oh, you scare the shit out of them. And people start running around and losing their minds. It's the same type of deal. It just, for me, it's that's the most self-satisfying. And then if I combine it all, it's getting the opportunity to work with my wife, Jackie. She's my cohort in crime, let's say, and my business partner. And she's been with me through every bit of madness we've ever created. So, yeah.
Okay. So she's the person that helps you behind the scenes with your production company.
Yes. And then over to, and friends and family have been supportive and things like that. But then having Amber come on and show me how to, I'm not good at self-marketing, as you can tell. I mean, I'm not nervous talking to you, but I'm not good at it. Because I'm just like, hey, let's make the thing, man. Let's just do it. Others thinking, oh, I got to think on this too. But Amber takes over and she's like, try this. And then it clicks. Like the production website, biddleproductions.com. She was like, I started putting it together and I'm like, this isn't working. She's like, well, let's try this, and this. And she was like, break it up by, like, I do budgets for people. I do the pre-production planning and packaging and all that fun stuff that, like, if you want to make a movie and you don't know what to do and you're like, you know what, I just want to get the camera and play with the actors and make it, you call me and I let you know what it's going to cost, how to get your locations and all that fun stuff. So Amber's made that, like, I thought I was doing okay, but I was wrong. Amber's made that into something so much more.
So Biddle Productions is the love child of all your work. Can you explain all the multiple functions that are inside your production company? Because here's the thing, like, when I hear production company and I'm someone that is naive to the actual production of things, I'm thinking that you do the PR, the sound, you do everything that goes along with filming a movie. So what all do you entail that you all do with this company?
Well, okay, I can't take all the credit for this alone. This is where Jackie and I really work as a team. And it depends on what type of project. So I'm going to, the easiest example is when we do a feature film.
Okay.
And the simplest form is when you watch a film and you get to the credits and you see the names rolling, other than the acting, and I can't say we do everything all the time and we have other people that help, but we've done every credit you can imagine except for maybe animal wrangler, hon. We like I'm really proud of how we feed people. Sometimes you can't pay people in the level of projects that we're talking about here. So, okay. But we make sure you get your 3 meals a day, and it's not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's, Jackie will make like spaghetti for like 12 people, or we'll do paninis or something like that. We'll make sure we can't pay them, but we show our appreciation and make sure that they're like, no, I can't eat anymore. Thank you. Oh, that type of stuff. So yeah, we take care of people really well. And
okay, now let me ask you something real quick, because I seen something, I went over to the website, something that caught my eye. Pitch Bibles.
Right.
What are those?
Okay, a pitch Bible. All right, we'll start with a TV show because they seem to be the most requested for those. You have your idea, you have your script, but now you can't just write a script anymore. In the old days, you would write a script, give them the log line, which is the one sentence that tells the story, makes people interested. So you'd submit your script, they'd start reading it, they'd read like 3 pages and most likely tell you no. A pitch Bible, you get to give that visual presentation. So you can show the color scheme, you can show ideas for who the actors will be, you can show how certain set parts, locations. If you're going to do something cool, like take your wife's minivan and not tell her, and then put like a head that you filled with like goo in a bad wig and run it over with their car, and hopefully it doesn't damage the car. Things like that. They love that stuff. This is the stuff that when I say low budget, I'm going to go up to like 500 grand. And and for me, that would be like 15 films. But with I lost my train of thought. With the pitch Bible,
Yes.
you want to make sure you basically, you have one paragraph. It's like, this film's about, hit the highlights. It will appeal to audiences why whatever set piece or whatever particular scene is going to get at their hearts, or make them shut their pants, as I said before. Whatever's going to make them jump and get into it emotionally, that's your pitch. Then you give them the 5 main characters, and each of those characters have to be unique, because if you don't, that's the part there that's going to make a bigger producer go, I don't like this script, but I like what this guy does or this girl does. Boom. Now you can sell a different script, because it's not just about one project, it's about all your projects when you try to do these pitches, and a pitch Bible is that tool.
Okay, and like you said, with that pitch, it's kind of like what I do with when I'm going out for advertisement. I have to have a good pitch and a follow-up, but your pitch Bible does the pitch and the follow-up and keeps the people enticed and tells them which direction they need to feel about it, and it basically conveys a really strong message. All right, I can get with that. Now, outside of this, we were talking about your accolades. You have another title that is very interesting, and that's an author. You're an author of 2 books.
Yeah, well, when we were doing the prep stuff, I didn't put the books behind the Amandrew Longing and Enlightenment, and I'll get into that later. But the 2 books I did were Remember What You've Done. That's it deals with dysphoric identity disorder. Am I saying that right?
Okay.
Dissociative. So it's basically multiple personality disorder, and it's got 2 strong female characters, and they're the ones battling around for the control of the mind. And then I threw in a little bit of, let's say, natural born killers in there, just to keep things fun and spicy. So, and then the other book was How to Make a Feature Film for $250. And it's not as hard as you would think, as long as you have a strong story and you have people that you can trust. And you just take the pieces and you do it step by step as it's in the book. You can do a decent festival film for that amount of money, and not even have the best camera. You don't need the best editing stuff. You just need heart and passion. Or is that the same thing? Either way.
So when did you have time? Because you got a lot of titles. When did you have time to become an author? Because that's like that's one of the hardest fields to get into. I understand that you write and you do scripts, but actually turn that around to be an author. When did you decide that you needed to do that?
I haven't had too much downtime per se, because there's just been so much going on. Thank you, COVID. It's just been madness. But right as that was starting, I was finishing up the Remember What You've Done book, and I was just like, I got to try a book. I tried and failed for years, and I was like, I'm overthinking it. So I retrained my brain, and I was like, I would write until I got tired. That was that day, right? And eventually I wound up with like 130 pages, 25,000 plus words. Gave it to Jackie, she edits. It's funny, when you write something, you don't want to edit it because it's a time killer. So it just stops your momentum. So I let Jackie edit, and well, actually she doesn't, I shouldn't say let. She's like, give me your freaking book, Ray, and let me fix how you can't spell words like the and things like that. She's great.
Okay. Now, there's a film that you have on Amazon Video right now. That is Zombie Film Fest, correct?
It's Biddle Productions presents
Zombie Film Fest.
Yes, that's kind of a misnomer. It started out as being Biddle Productions presents Zombie Film Fest and Timmy LaGoof, because we did Timmy LaGoof with local actors, and it was okay. I'm like, I can do something with this. And then I had it in my head that I had to make a feature film. So I went to bed on a Saturday night, and I had a bunch of dreams about zombie movies. I woke up super early one morning, and I wrote all 6 scripts by between like 5 and 10 a.m.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they were all shorts, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes. And we just put it, I just was like, well, if we film each of these pieces, we can call it an anthology film. It's not really an anthology film because there's no wraparound story to tie everything together. So yeah, it was just my zombie movies are a little bit different than most. Most people are like, oh, what's this creepy place? Hey, that guy's eating people. Run. My zombie films get into the if you ever have those thoughts where you're like, I wonder what would happen if a zombie married a regular human and they just had to live life together. Could they do it? And so that was I'm looking for that.
So you humanize a zombie, but basically you take the twist out of the aspect of just I'll eat your brains. And you're like, hey, I'm going to be a conscious thinker, but I still might eat your brains if you get out of line.
Exactly. But how many zombie movies have you watched in your life?
Probably like 20 or 30.
Okay. Some are a little bit different. Like 28 Days is fun. It's different.
Yes.
And then you have like Zombieland, but it's all, we have to survive, get away from the people that are going to eat us.
Right.
True?
Same premise.
So I'm just going to go down the order. So the first one is Zombie A Go-Go. Spokane had a bar called the Zombie Room.
Okay.
If you see a place called the Zombie Room and you make movies, you have to find a way to shoot there. So, you know the joke, like 3 guys walk into a bar and then the punchline?
Yes.
So this was 3 zombies walk into a bar after work and just talk about their day. And then they get harassed by clients and they're disheveled and they're just sad. They don't want to eat anybody. They just want to drink their zombie drinks and go home. That's all it is. Then the next one was what I was talking about a little bit earlier. A zombie gives up eating people to be true to his wife, who's one of the living. And one of the best scenes we've ever filmed was when I was talking about eating the squirrel. Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully I don't paint myself in a bad light here. Okay. One of our actors, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to embarrass him for this.
Okay.
We had a little bit of miscommunication and he has diabetes. Now, if you know anything about fake blood, it's 99% sugar. The rest is food coloring.
Yes.
So you're like, dude, do not swallow the blood. It's sugar. And they say, okay. Then you say action and everybody forgets that stuff. They're just doing the best they can. So he takes the squirrel and he breaks the neck and he bites it and tears it apart and he gets a big mouthful of blood. And I'm like, we got to do it one more time. We do it the second time. Same thing with the backup squirrel. So now he's had like 6 ounces of sugar blood. And he's like, I think I had too much sugar. Great. Thank you. But other than that part, it was great. Then we did one, the dog races.
Yes.
How they chase a rabbit.
Yes.
We had 5 zombies. It's called the zombie race. 5 zombies pursue an old man in a wheelchair. That was played by me. And they chase them through the city streets until there's a winner. And it has a twist ending. I don't want to give that away, but it was hysterical. Have you ever seen zombies smoke cigarettes and they are holding fake? Oh, it's hysterical. It was great. It's a fun, that was another one. And we had a lot of fun doing it. It doesn't fit the zombie mold. True zombie fans are like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, it's funny. They're like, anyway. Then I did Little Red Riding Hood with zombies, which stars Amber. And she was like 13, maybe 14 at the time. And yeah. So I had her dress up as Little Red Riding Hood and Big Bad Wolf's a zombie wolf. Bad things happen. It was funny. And then we did zombie fast food. So most of the zombie fast food you can find on YouTube. It was like an early cut. You remember the early days of YouTube at all?
Yes.
And that particular clip got hijacked. Like
Whoa.
It was stolen and edited by, I want to believe it was something in Hong Kong. Because I play a fat jogger.
Okay.
And, typecasting. And The zombies come and they eat me on the front steps of this house. That's all it is. And that was the scary one of the group. And it was funny. It was messy. But why someone decided we're going to take this 8-minute film and cut out, we're going to show people chewing on fake organs, but we're going to cut out the blood splatter coming out of his mouth. It was funny.
That's crazy. Now, let me ask you this. You actually took this to Amazon. How do you present your film to Amazon or get it even on Amazon? What's the procedure for that?
Well, back then, you just basically went to the site and they had a place called Creative Space where you could do your DVDs.
Okay.
So you basically submitted to that. It automatically got put into Amazon's Play, and Amazon was just starting to do their I guess they were. It wasn't exactly called streaming yet, but you could go in and your movies would show up on Amazon Prime, and then people would find them on the television and things like that. I mean, it was so old; it was standard definition. But that's another. Anyway, so to do this, you went to the site. You followed their rules and regulations. You submitted some artwork, the DVD cover, and then it just went out. And whoever bought it, bought it. And then now they have a specific video streaming site but I don't like to deal with that anymore because of the hassles involved.
Yes.
But so now I'm going to call it a film aggregator. I might be mispronouncing that, but it's called Film Hub. And Film Hub, you submit your project, they review it, and then all sorts of streaming sites can find it. It's not, you can't get on Netflix. Netflix is pretty hard. Netflix, you got to have like real budgets behind stuff. You got to have names involved, but you can get on Tubi. You can get on Amazon. Are you familiar with Vimeo?
Yes.
Vimeo has a streaming site. They actually pay people now. It's
Whoa.
amazing. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. And
okay, now
see, all that stuff was also tied into why we did Biddle Drive-In, because Amazon went from paying like 15 cents. The high end was maybe 30 cents per 60 minutes viewed. It's now down to a penny.
Whoa.
Yeah. So think, you 90 minutes, you get 1,000 streams. You're not making very much money now. Not
at all.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Some of the other sites pay a little bit better, but
So you led into what I was about to ask you about your current project. I understand, like, because just with podcasting, we have independent podcasters. Then we have some podcasters that join affiliates, join networks, and get to a bigger, broader space in certain areas, and some don't, which is good. But you help the indie filmmaker, the indie content creator, with your drive-in service. Could you? We had Amber want to explain it, but could you explain more about the drive-in service, like why you decided to start it and what like really pulled you to do this?
Frankly, I got tired of these companies screwing people that are putting their heart and soul. I mean, I know some people that have spent if Hollywood spends $50 million for a movie, that's not coming out of someone's pocket. That's a corporate, whatever you want to call it. I know people that have spent $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 of savings for a dream. And then Amazon's like, we don't want it. You did great. It's a great movie. But no, that type of stuff. So I'm like, if you can make a movie that's coherent, that has a story, I want it. It doesn't have to be great. Everything that's on the site right now should be on Netflix. It should be on Amazon. It should be on Hulu. And it's not just because it was made well. I can honestly say the worst film technically on the site right now is My Enlightenment 30 Seconds at a Time, which was intentionally made to be less than Hollywood. I'll put it that way. And we still put it together with passion, and we still did a really good product. But the other 6 that are up there right now, I don't have them in front of me. Sorry. I'm thinking, and my brain's out thinking my mouth.
Okay.
There's one by a gentleman named Ron Brown, I can't believe I just butchered his name. Start again. There's one on there right now by a man named Ron Ford, and he is a genius. If you ever get the chance, just IMDb him when you get a chance.
Okay.
All of his films they should have Oscars to them. They should be noticed. The man should be rich. He's brilliant for what he does when it comes to, we got a camera, we got an editing bay, and we got great actors. That's all he asked for. So, he did a film years ago called Hollywood Mortuary. If you get a chance to see it, watch it. It's about old time Hollywood. It's hysterical. It's even got an Oscar winner in it. So, and do you remember her name? Anyway, yeah, she's from the 50s, but she was an Oscar winner. I mean, there's these people. Avi Chambra.
Okay, we'll definitely look her.
He's got 2 films on my site. They're both shorts, but they were professionally done. They tell a great story. They're different. They've got talented actors. They're well worth someone paying 50 cents to $1 for 8 to 10 minutes of their time.
Right.
How'd I do there? Not to break the interview. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have this in my notes, and I'm out thinking myself.
You're doing good.
Okay.
You're doing good, and we'll edit in between. Now, let me ask you this: what was the first thing that the first obstacle that you came upon when you started the streaming service? Because everybody, when they start something or get a good idea, something always gets in the way. What was the first obstacle in your way?
Inexpensive bandwidth. I mean, I had first talked to, I told Amber I wanted to do this, and I believe that was January or February. And as I said, my time's not always my own, so I come up with ideas and I tell other people, and they're like, let's try this, and then I go, what about this? Well, anyway, so you start looking at these websites, and who's another. I try not to trash people, but the price of bandwidth is ridiculous.
It is.
So I have Wix. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not really plugging them. It's just where the site is. So I used them to host the new site. And at first I thought we were going to get like 3 movies for what they wanted to charge. Turns out we can get like 30. They were like, oh, yeah. So the more films we get, the better the audience experience that you were talking about for the cinematic quality. And that's the hardest part, is trying to find a partner in terms of that who's like, we share your vision, because they told me it couldn't be done. Wix told me for 3 months, you can't do this. And I'm like, okay, I guess we can't do it. Then they were like, you can do it. And I'm like, what do you mean I can do it? You just told me. So it's about communication. It's about being persevering. And yeah, that was the biggest problem at all. And then it just came together, and Amber's, like I said, Amber's a genius.
And that's the hardest part when it comes to doing stuff with this streaming stuff. Nobody ever looks at the backside of the technology you got to have. And like you said, bandwidth is something that's real hard to come by on the internet when you have something streaming, because that's something that's a heavy data drawer. So another cool thing about—
can I elaborate one thing?
Yes.
Well, and then because it continues that point too. To do this, I didn't want to have to charge someone $1,500 to host a movie. I looked at it from out. Would I pay $1,500 for someone to host a movie that just, we don't know what the return's going to be? There's no guarantee. So we were able to knock that down to charge people. Basically, it covers Amber's time to post. Have you when you put your stuff up and sometimes weird things happen, you're like, oh, this will be 10 minutes before it goes up, and next you know it's 2 hours later, but you're babysitting it. That's what I wanted to make sure Amber got compensated for. I mean, I'd pay her out of my pocket if I had to, but we got past that part too, and that was, yeah, we got it down to like, I think we charged $7 for someone to put a film up, and if it's a really short film, we don't charge. Like 5 minutes under, We don't charge. That's,
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
again, it's not about greed. It's, I really hope it comes across that this is for other filmmakers.
Right.
So,
And that was the thing that made it very interesting to me, because you're offering independent films, short films, and other content creators a place to monetize. And that's something that's really awesome, because they can't go anywhere else to monetize. Like you said, they're going to get pennies on the dime from Amazon. And the hardest thing is to get an option from a place like Netflix or Paramount, all these places that are doing, that are all in this streaming backyard now. Everybody's got a streaming service, and they just want to pay for content at a certain price, and they want established content. They're not looking for the next big thing anymore.
they're paying people, like people who had movies, like let's say in the 80s. It wasn't big, anything super big, but they had a theatrical run and then it just got forgotten about. They want to pay those people like $200 to bring a classic movie back. But meanwhile, they'll pay MGM $15 million for the first 30 days rights to see what happens. They have no idea what the film's going to be, but here's $15 million, do with what you want. It might be garbage, but you have a film like, I was just looking, like, all right, it's a Rob Lowe film. It's a hockey movie, Youngblood.
Okay.
That sat in obscurity for years. And when it hit, they wanted to pay like $200, $300 to put it up, and then it kind of took off. It's one of my favorite movies because I like the subject matter, but that type of stuff to me is crazy. And then you take it down to the smaller level, like, oh, here you go, here's a bottle of water, thank you.
Now, let me ask you this: content creators, anyone that's making something, what are the policies and procedures for these people to submit stuff to you guys?
Well, make your film, make a web series, something visual. The latest addition to Biddle Drive-In is a series, and it's do you have that up on your screen, like the IMDb stuff?
Not right now, but I can pull it up.
But
I have your drive-in. Let me go.
do you remember the name of that dog show, hun?
Show?
No, the one that we got put on the streaming site. The man and his daughter made it. I'll get you that information. But
are you talking about Dogs of Town Hall?
yes, that's up there with the stuff that Nickelodeon does, and this is, some of the episodes are written by his daughter. I believe she's 11. She's got a future. Why wouldn't I want to help these people? It's just good stuff. It's not obnoxious. There's no fart jokes. It's just a family doing something with passion, making a series out of it to share with the world. And the quality's good. The girl's writing's amazing. 11 years old, I could barely play with a baseball card and probably wind up eating it. I mean, I couldn't write a book. I couldn't write a line.
Okay, now let me ask you this. All right. Content creators always get inspired, and they are aspiring to be something in the industry, or just to make something that's a love letter to whatever. What type of advice would you give to an aspiring content creator on when they're creating something, and how do you feel about the statement? And this is the statement I want to make: creating something that separates yourself from the rest of the field.
Well, all right, let's start with that one. I don't think you have to worry about that when you start. I think you make what you like to the best of your ability and learn from it. Because when you start, you're not. I know when on my very first short, it was a bad zombie thing, but it was unrelated. I just wanted to make a movie. I found my actors at the Hollywood Video and family and I'm like, okay, this, like you hold your camera and you're like, wonder what this button does. What's that red light mean? Why am I looking at the big end? Oh, that's the type of stuff that you don't worry about it. You learn. Make your visual story in the format that you want, and just tell it the best you can. Your next one will be better, and just make it and get it out there. It doesn't have to, I'm not a fan of cat videos. It's not that I have a thing against cat videos. I just don't think that's a different kind of content. And if we're talking storytelling, all storytelling is amazing. Just make yours. Is that fair?
That's fair. I actually like that answer. Now, and this is like a question that's off the topic because I like to do these just to mess with people.
Okay.
What's in the future for you and your production company?
Well, we've been shooting, I think I mentioned, it's called Superheroes for Hire.
Okay.
And in our side of the business, weird things happen. Like Spokane's had the weirdest weather. We've had 100 degrees, I don't know, 15 days, 95 plus, basically all summer. And due to like my brain stuff and some physical things, I can't work outside like that. I can't shoot like I used to. So it got put on hold, and real life happened to some of the actors, and some of it, as we know, during the pandemic stuff, some of it hasn't been exactly positive. People in other countries, they may not be with us now, and I'm still hoping I can work with them, but it's hard to, like, they don't have internet capabilities, or they passed, and you can't get, you don't get messages. So I don't like to say, hey, you're going to be in, and then, so I have to wait on some of that. But anyway, yeah, that's that. I don't have anything new planned for my own writing for a while, because I freelance too. So I work all the time.
Okay.
In something. Yeah, I drive my wife crazy. But yeah, the web series, the Superheroes for Hire, we're hoping, well, it's supposed to be, the first episode's supposed to be out September 24th, and I'm sure we'll stick to that time frame. It's just a matter of, God willing, things go a little bit less crazy.
Okay, well, let's go talk about this driving experience real quick before we end the interview. In the driving experience, you can do it from a browser, and you can, obviously, if you have a certain connections to your computer, you can put it up on a TV. What's the best experience you've had with viewing this, like hooking it to your TV and watching it?
I believe that all content should be viewed on the biggest screen possible. Obviously, that depends on what people have. I've looked at every film on a computer screen, and it plays amazingly. I don't like to watch movies on this.
Yeah, not at all.
You miss too many details. So at least the laptop screen, tablets are fine. Tablets have been really good. It projects, everything projects really well on our big TV. So the bigger the screen, the better. And the better, like, I noticed that if you have like the sound bar,
yes,
things sound better with a sound bar. So
okay, and I thank you for letting us know about that. Now, there comes a part of the show that I pay homage to a great news magazine, and it's called 2020. 2020 was a great news magazine growing up. It came on Friday nights after TGI Friday went off. You had John Stossel, you had Diane Sawyer, and then you had the greatest interviewer that ever lived. And no, I'm not talking about Ted Koppel or Dan Rather. I'm talking about Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters would ask a hard-hitting question. Diane Sawyer prior to that would give you a decent interview that will keep you intertwined till about 10:40. At 10:40 at night, no matter where you were in life, if you watched Barbara Walters, she either sent you to bed questioning things, or she sent you to bed and you had an attitude. It was one of the two things. And sometimes she would allow you to stay up a little bit later. She ran over to 11:02. So here we go, Ray. Here you go. You're on the hot seat right now. Are you ready? And these questions, audience, once again, he's not prepared for these. The other ones I do as a favor and all that other stuff. Okay. You have a lot of content over on your website. I'll give you a moment. I'm going to pull on one that caught my eye. The Red Whispers.
That's one of Abby's.
Yes. The Red Whispers. Something about that was enticing. That, you also, let me name what's all over here. The Cosmologic Constant, Enlightenment 30 Seconds at a Time, Spotty, which is directed by you, Star Film Productions presents The Call, Firefighter, and Emma's Visitor, and Dogs of Town Hall. That's what's over there right now. The Red Whispers. Just in looking at everything else catches your eye because everything is gripping. The Spidey, my girlfriend, she doesn't like spiders, so when she seen that, she kind of just looked away from it. She just put her hand over that. But out of all this content, how did you decide? And this is a hard question to answer. How did you decide? Because I know you had these films, and I know you had other submissions and things. How did you decide to go with just this stuff of right now? Like first off, all of these movies.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Parts of the Red Whisper, I believe I even wrote. See, Avi, I've done a lot of work for in the last couple of years. And then he just makes some, he's like, hey, Ray. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that one because I've written like 10 shorts for him. So I don't know exactly how he's going to do things. And the Red Whispers, I believe, was the one I used for a test view. So I don't even remember. And did we watch that one all the way through?
I don't know.
Some of them I've seen a lot of times, so you just forget and you're like, oh, it's still playing.
Yes.
But that one, it was Avi asked. He was like, how do I get on your site? I have this one and this one right now, and I want to put more. I was like, well, I knew his other one.
Emma's Visitor?
Yes. So I was like, I trust you. I've only turned down 3 films so far that have been presented to me, and the only reason I turned them down, they're too adult content, if that's a good way to word it.
Okay.
And if it makes me blush, I can't put it on my site.
Understandable, because you have to be careful with your brand, your products, and everything that you're bringing out here. So now here goes the hard-hitting question. If Jackie decided tomorrow that she wanted to take over the drive-in site and send you back over to just do writing and all the other parts of the production, would you be happy with her decision?
I'd prefer Amber because Amber's more into that part of it.
Okay.
But I trust Jackie with anything she ever tells me in life. So if she was like, I want to take over the drive-in site, it's my baby now, like, have at it, honey. I appreciate, I love everything about it, and I'd hope she'd let me at least like be a part of it in some way. But if she wanted it, she could absolutely take it. She's awesome.
Okay, I like that.
I trust her with anything.
Now, here's the most hard-hitting question. It takes a lot of time to do everything that you do here. You and your wife and Amber. With Amber, she also has another business. She runs a podcast also outside of this. How hard is it for you as a parent to pull her away sometimes from her podcasting duties to keep with the family business?
I was going to say something obnoxious, then I changed my mind because she'll hear it, then she'll come after me. No,
right.
I just ask Amber. There's never been, you have to do this. If she, and she'll tell you that too. She's like, can't do it today, Dad. I'll do it tomorrow. And with Amber, if she says she's gonna, I'll do it by next Monday, 10 a.m. It'll be done. I don't even think about it. She's like, oh, and I did this, and this in addition. So again, Amber's great. If she's got stuff going on, she's never obligated. I'll put it that way, because I like that word, because the obligations make people feel guilt, and I don't like guilt in my life. So
right,
I can't try to make people feel guilty.
Okay. Now, Ray, another part of this show that we do is called the shameless plug. The reason we do a shameless plug is this. We have listeners that listen throughout the show. They read the show notes. And generally within the show notes, they find whatever they're looking for. If it's the blogging type, because some people will read, I know it sounds crazy, they will play the podcast, listen to it, but they will go in and read the show notes to get the highlights. So if an audience member or just anyone that reads the show notes, because it goes on Tumblr and all these other websites that just literally, sometimes they don't even pay attention to the podcast. It's just the amount of whatever is written in those show notes. How would they contact you? Contact the production company? How would they get involved with you? And let them know about your social media. where you're located online so that they can reach you there? Because not everybody goes to a website. Some people start at Instagram and then make their way.
Ooh, good question. Wish Amber? No. The social media part, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. The particulars on Instagram are pretty new. And again, that's been Amber. So,
Okay.
But the biddleproductions.com, biddledrivein.com. They can email me at biddleproductions@comcast.net. And if they have a production question, I work with all levels. So if it's somebody that listens today and they're like, I have this great idea for a story, but I don't know what to do, I answer questions for free. It's not like I'm like, if you have a question, ask me. As for if they need work done, they can find me there. If they have a film, go to the Biddle Drive-ins, contact us there. Facebook, it's Biddle Drive-in or Biddle Productions or Ray Biddle. And it might be a little bit if they contact me on Facebook. I'm currently serving a 30-day ban, but that's another story. over something silly that, anyway, you stand up for people, and sometimes Facebook decides that you did something wrong, but that's another story. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. Facebook's a relic. It's one of those places that I tell everybody, it's like going to Walmart, and no offense to Walmart, because they are my employer. Everybody goes in there and they have a great time, but Instagram's like Target. Everybody's invited in there, but not everybody goes in there.
Right.
And that's where we're going to all line up at some point. Even though it's owned by Facebook, we'll line up all in Instagram at some point. That's where we'll end up. So, Ray,
you made me think of something. With the Instagram for Biddle Drive-In, we're doing a giveaway. Just go to the, I think it's at Biddle Drive-In.
Yes.
That's it. So go there, follow the directions on the giveaway page, and you can win a gift card. Actually, we're doing two. One's for 10, one's for $25, I believe. So.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were saying?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, I'm glad that you put all that information out there, because that's how we pull people in and get people to listen and to go over to your website and engage. We're always looking for that engagement. So Ray, I want to tell you a huge thank you for coming on West Virginia and Commonplace to talk about all your ventures and everything that's going on with you and your production company. And lastly, at the end, we like to give a shout out to the people in your life that have helped you along the way and have guided you down a certain path, and some people that stopped you from falling off of a bridge. So please, Ray, would you take this moment real fast to thank everyone that has helped you along the way? Well,
the big picture is every viewer, every actor, but I can't name them all because there's just a lot. But people that help me the most are Jackie, my kids, Amber, Zach, and Kirsten, and my mentor, Ron Ford. Then there's Avi Chandra. Then there's brain cramp. From Lost in the Woods Productions, Andrew Haas. He's my go-to cameraman. Now he's editing for me. Without him, I'd be screwed royalty and most stuff. And Trisha Davis. Trisha Davis is an actress that she deserves to be on. She deserves to make her living doing this. So she's another one. You call her and she's like, I'll be there. Just tell me when. So those people, everybody yeah.
Okay. All right. And once again, Ray, I want to thank you for coming on to West Virginia and Commonplace. It has been a pleasure of mine to have you on here, because I love people that do something special in the world. And what I mean by special is this. You decided that you would be a player in a game that not everybody is chosen to do. You made a choice that you're going to say, hey, big Amazon, big streaming services, I'm here to help the independent guy out, not the little guy, but the independent guy, the guy that may not be able to get through all these doors. You're opening doors for them, and eventually they can go to a higher echelon. If so, and if not, it's still the principle that you're taking time to be the IFC streaming service, basically, for all of these people, And it's so hard to get your content out, I guess, in the video realm and in any type of digital content like that without a backer. And you're the backer for these people to do these things. So I want to commend you and thank you for this foremost. And I wish you guys the best in the world when it comes to production, everything else that you're doing, because you're setting a precedent for people. You're showing, hey, we can get out here, we can build our own network, we can have films on here. Nobody's really out here doing this on a strong suit. Most people, what they're doing is they're going over to Roku. You can go buy a channel for $3,500, fully equipped, throwing it up on Roku, and Roku's raking in the profit.
Yeah. Yeah, I know about that one too. But I didn't want to go that way because, well, first of all, that's a lot of money. And second, I know a lot of garbage on there too. And right. I wanted to avoid that. But I thank you for having me and helping us. It's awesome.
All right. West Virginia and Commonplace, we will be signing off. And once again, they have a giveaway going on over at their Instagram page, and there will be much more to come. Talk to you all later.
Thank you.